How is Anne Boleyn a fallen woman? Now, on one level, this seems like it should be self-explanatory. However, she's gotten a bit of modern rebranding in recent years to make her a bit of like a rules girl because she waited to sleep with Henry until he put a ring on it. And that's really missing a whole lot of historical context. Real quick, definition of a fallen woman. It's not just a woman who is generally bad. A fallen woman always goes back to a woman committing some sort of sexual transgression, usually premarital sex, adultery, divorce, or promiscuity, having relations with more than one man. And all of these were seen to lead to nefarious behavior like breaking the law, sex work, mental illness, or involvement with the occult, as in witchcraft. And their stories typically end in a very tragic way. And this is society's way of turning them into cautionary tales to tell future girls and women, no, don't do this. So Anne's biggest transgression was the big fat capital scarlet letter A. At the time, England was super duper Catholic, and if you're not aware, Catholics don't recognize divorce. They don't even recognize it today. I myself was married in the Catholic Church, and I'm divorced. And in the eyes of the church, I am still married to my ex-husband, and I will be like forever. So Anne Boleyn was not a rules girl waiting for a man to put a ring on it. She was an adulteress, and everybody looked at her as an adulteress. However, Anne was a staunch reformist, so even if she had genuinely wanted to marry him, I feel like it's debatable. She did not believe that the Pope has some divine ability to dictate people's lives or to be a conduit of God's word. But the public did not see a religious reformist. They saw a big fat hoe. Secondly, Anne was about 5 months pregnant at her coronation, and this was another big no-no. Women were not supposed to be out in public when they were showing. So not only is she committing adultery, she's flaunting her pregnant belly, which is essentially broadcasting to the world that they've already done the deed, and Catherine would never. Beyond that, Anne had been educated at the French court, which the English viewed suspiciously. Of course, to add all the fuel to the fire was Anne being involved in politics, being opinionated, openly flirting with men in court, because that's, she was trained in the art of courtly love. And in true fallen woman fashion, Anne, of course, had a very tragic end. And all of this is why, when charges of adultery, including incest, were brought up in her trial, the public was like, I see it. And a lot of people saw her trial as this form of divine justice for this woman who had defied God, and she didn't get away with it. So that in a nutshell is why Anne is considered a fallen woman and why she ended up in this musical that I wrote about fallen women. She was actually one of the very first ones that I picked because she is so quintessential.